When Donald Trump left office and Joe Biden took charge, it could have been a sigh of relief for some of Washington's EU allies, just when Europe was starting to think that the future would be more predictable under the new president. This happens.
I'm very angry today and bitter. This is not something allies do to each other.
The world is a jungle. France has just been reminded this bitter truth by the way the US and the UK have stabbed her in the back in Australia. C'est la vie.
EU leaders are still reeling over what the Biden administration did in Afghanistan. And now Paris has been stunned by Washington's announcement of a new partnership with Australia and the UK called AUKUS. But haven't the US, the UK, and Aussies been close allies for ages? What's the problem? Well, thanks to AUKUS, Australia will now be hooked up with US technology to build nuclear submarines, while France waves goodbye to its own multi-billion-dollar contract to build 12 diesel subs for Canberra. Now, for some damage control by senior American officials after that deal was torpedoed.
There are a range of partnerships that include the French and some partnerships that don't, and they have partnerships with other countries that don't include us. That is part of how global diplomacy works.
Are such words enough to calm the fury in Paris, which has even called off a gala at the French embassy in Washington to celebrate historic ties with the U.S.? Good question. Anyway, the French government has shown they're not willing to just swallow that bitter pill. Plus, there's solidarity with Paris from the EU on the matter.
It is a good opportunity to recall, to reflect on the need to raise the issue of European strategic autonomy. It is a new proof of the need to exist on our own.
When the creation of AUKUS was announced, none of the leaders of the US, UK, Aussie trio mentioned China even once. But make no mistake, the masterminds of the new pact must have had keeping Beijing at bay on their mind. They're fooling no one. Just look at how the article on AUKUS on the BBC is titled. China's reaction to the new partnership didn't take long. Critical and outright.
Countries should not build exclusionary blocks targeting or harming the interests of third parties. In particular, they should shake off their Cold War mentality and ideological prejudice.
And the EU published its strategy for cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, clearly stating the intention not to worsen relations with China, contradicting the apparent intentions of AUKUS.
The EU will also pursue its multifaceted engagement with China, engaging bilaterally to promote solutions to common challenges.
When it comes to neighboring countries, New Zealand doesn't want Australian nuclear subs anywhere near its waters.
Australia has today voluntarily and secretly entered into a nuclear-based defence and military pact with 2 nuclear weapon states. Is that a net gain for regional stability and for peace and cooperation in the world? There are wider regional concerns. Indonesia, the Pacific, New Zealand, many other players are looking in either disbelief or anger or at least concern about Australia's position tonight.
Having gone through all that, let me just show you part of how the Australian Prime Minister introduced AUKUS.
We must now take our partnership to a new level. A partnership that seeks to engage, not to exclude, to contribute, not take, and to enable and empower, not to control or coerce.
Well, good luck with engaging and not excluding. Something tells me that this new partnership, though, has already stepped on toes and undermined international ties.